Hi everyone, and welcome to Otakusphere Weekly, episode 15. I'm Karen, and with me tonight are Sal.
Yo.
And Lifesong.
Hello.
Unfortunately, LB couldn't be with us again tonight. Hopefully his schedule will open up a little bit in the coming weeks. Just before we get started, I have an important announcement. Important announcement. Otakusphere Weekly can now be found on iTunes. So if you are so inclined, you can go leave us a review there. That would be nice. But more importantly, that means it'll probably be easier for a lot of people to listen to the podcast, because I know that was an issue for some people, that they wanted to listen, but they had issues with the Podbean player, which is the default service that we use. So I hope that makes life easier for people. Okay, so we're going to jump into general Otaku Chat, and we've all been kind of buried under the new summer anime, and not really treading water either, just getting completely buried and not being able to do anything about it. So I don't think any of us have much otaku stuff to share, but I did want to touch on Pokemon Go, because that's like the mobile sensation that is taken on the world. I wasn't going to play it because I thought that I should be loyal to Sailor Moon Drops as my one stupid anime-related mobile game, but then I get a text from Wilson on Monday where he's like, I caught 20 Pokemon on my way to work. You know, it's just like...
I have to ask, was this on the way to work while driving?
No, thank God. No.
I want to know how many traffic accidents this has caused, this game.
Yeah, that's the thing. On the one hand, like, it's kind of, you hear all these nice stories about people going out to catch Pokemon and starting up conversations with strangers, people being nice to each other, and that's great, but you just know there are going to be so many fender benders and things because of this, and that's kind of...
Apparently there are people who are trying to take advantage of the Go spots to use them as mugging spots to jack people.
Yeah, that too. That's not good either.
Yeah, I saw one thing on Twitter, like, Pokemon Go leads kids to gun. Like, okay.
Wait, leads kids to what?
I mean...
Oh, they found a firearm.
I mean, the moral of the story is that if you're going to play Pokemon Go, please use common sense when you're searching for a specific Pokemon. Because, Nintendo and whatever the company who makes Pokemon Go are not going to be responsible if you walk into the wrong neighborhood and get mugged or shot on the spot because you're trying to capture a Moltres or a rare Pokemon.
That's really not Nintendo's fault, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think it's more amazing that all these little stories are coming out with just because of Pokemon Go. I don't think it's Pokemon Go's fault at all. Yeah. I think it's just kind of interesting. Like, did nobody look down that alleyway before?
Yeah. On the bright side, I do like the social aspect about it, how like certain people who are just meeting each other just because of Pokemon Go. Like,
yeah.
Like the other day, like a couple of my friends were walking around the neighborhood, they found a Pokestop, and so they placed like the Pokelure item, which allows for Pokemon to come to that area, and anyone else can take advantage of the lure, so it led to a bunch of cars just stopping by that Pokeshop area just to capture the Pokemon that have arrived because of the lure.
Yeah, I gotta say too, like I was talking to some some dudes that are in their like 50s or so at work, and they're talking about Pokemon Go. They brought it up with me, assuming I'm playing it, of course. Well, they're playing it, and I don't think they've ever played a Japanese video game before in their lives, and they're telling me all about Pokemon Go, and I'm just like, this is the weirdest experience.
Yeah, actually, when I was at the store today, I ended up behind this guy who was looked like he was in his 80s, and he was walking very slowly. And I was thinking, oh God, please let him be on his iPhone playing Pokemon Go. Please let him be on his iPhone. And then it turned out he was just going over his receipt very carefully, and I felt
that's a shame.
Yeah. Oh, and I also got to the point that this one college in Miami, they actually did a public service announcement about Pokemon Go to tell the students to be careful. Oh, and the best part is that one of my friends is an animator. Like he made this Charmander animation, GIF animation, where you see like Charmander chasing his tail while being all happy, and his animation appeared in the public service video.
That's cool.
I've joked with friends before who are kind of into the virtual reality thing, like thinking it's going to be super cool. I'm like, no, you guys are wrong. It's not virtual reality. It's augmented reality that's going to pick up and be cool. And you know what? I was just kind of joking. I can't even really take credit for the fact that Pokemon Go, or that I predicted that Pokemon Go, because I didn't. I was joking with them to give them a hard time. But here we are looking at it. I'm like, you know what? That actually is kind of right. They are doing cool things with augmented reality. And now I'm listening to people talk about like the possibilities for augmented reality, and it's like, the list is massive. It's actually cool.
Yeah, and what I'm wondering is, like, this time next year, we'll be talking about, oh, remember the Pokemon Go fad where for 2 weeks everybody was catching Pokemon on their phones and it was annoying? Or is this going to be like a watershed moment where, like, a lot of these sorts of games are going to come out,
wait a second, Life. Something else occurred to me. Like, in a sense, before Pokemon Go existed, like, that one augmented reality Pokemon catching game that was in Black and White 2, that was like an app that came with it, that was for the regular DS. That was actually like the precursor to Pokemon Go to an extent.
Okay, so there was a previous game that did this kind of thing.
Yeah. Except that the Pokemon you caught in that, you got to transfer to the actual game.
You know, I do wonder whether or not it'll be a fad and it'll be over in a couple months, or it'll continue. I think it has the potential to continue.
I mean,
yeah,
considering that Pokemon Go helped Nintendo stock go up big time, you know, so it's like, that's a good sign.
I don't know enough about how it works because I haven't played it yet. How are they making money off of it? That'd be like one of the questions I'd want to ask. Like, because if they're making massive money off of this, yes, someone else is going to do it.
Well, right now they haven't done any freemium stuff for it yet.
No, I checked I didn't buy anything, but I checked the store, and you could, like, buy Pokeballs and lures and stuff like that.
Okay. So people are buying, I'm sure they're buying these things, and
however, the game still gives you, like, in-game money by doing certain things in Go to buy that stuff yourself, so it's not, like, unfair with the freemium content.
Yeah, I'm only level 2. I've only just begun my Pokemon journey, and we'll probably touch on this again.
And once you get to 5, you're going to make the important choice. Do you want to join Team Valor, Mystic, or Instinct?
I haven't decided. I don't even know what the differences between the different teams is yet. I haven't looked it up, and I haven't gotten up to the part of the game where they explain it to me. But I retweeted a tweet today. I should credit whoever it was that came up with this. Show notes. Someone said, so we're all going to join different color gangs thanks to Pokemon and on our phone. So this is basically just the plot of Durarara. I was like, oh my god!
That's basically
my god!
Well, that is what the groups in Pokemon Go are. Like, when you join a gang, you basically take control of the gym point in Pokemon Go, and then like the other gangs have to try to fight the trainer that's in your turf to take control. So it's basically a turf war. Done through cell phones.
Where you mark areas as like your gym, right?
Yes.
So, like, if we're living in Durarara now, where's my Shizuo?
Very, very good question.
Nintendo, I demand the Shizuo update. I caught a Shizuo! Yay! Okay. I'll feed him all the candy.
Oh, man. We'll just have to look out for a bartender that'll throw vending machines at, like, Pokemon Go players.
Yeah, is there a Pokemon that wears a bartender outfit and throws vending machines?
And then
there should be.
Person will probably worry be like someone dressed up as a Zaya playing Pokemon Go. Now someone has to do that at a con. Someone needs to dress up as Shizuo, and someone needs to dress up as a Zaya, and they need to, like, be on opposite turfs and kind of compete in Pokemon Go. And the Shizuo person has to throw vending machines at Isaiah while in the process.
I hope the cosplayers don't go quite that far.
Well, they could make the vending machines out of a prop, like maybe a box or something out of plastic.
I was going to say foam. You could have a giant foam vending machine. And
a foam vending machine. That way no one gets hurt.
Yes.
Yeah. They could do it. I mean, did you see that woman with the Papers, Please cosplay where it was like an entire booth?
Oh, yeah. That was I seen a picture. That was impressive.
Nice.
Okay. I guess we're getting off topic, so we should probably get back to the animus.
Yes.
Okay, so, SEMPAI leak, and I should say, before we get going this week, we still have plenty of stuff on the list, but there's also a lot of stuff on the list that either some of us or all of us didn't get to watch. So, by next week, any summer show that we have not discussed yet, unless it's really obscure, by next week we'll get to it. But we're just taking it a little bit at a time for right now. But one show that is not new and shiny, but special anyway, is ReZero, episode 15. And I have to say, I saw people reacting to this episode online days before I actually saw it, so I knew it was going to be pretty brutal and that I should expect that. I still was not prepared.
Yeah.
I was sitting there at the credit screen, like, oh my god, that's the credit screen? Oh god, I
yeah.
feeling like chilled, like oh god, what's happening?
Literally, I actually felt sick after watching the episode. I probably missed an episode or two of anime I would have watched simply because of that episode.
Yeah, I actually felt like when I watched the End of Evangelion for the first time, when you come to that break in the middle before you get into like the crazy psychedelic part after that like tremendous violence with everybody being killed and everything, I remember sitting there watching the credits just feeling sick, and it wasn't quite that pronounced, but that was how I felt watching Re:Zero 15.
Yeah, it was the same idea with me. So
yeah. I have seen people complain that this episode was actually too brutal, but even though I'm not really, obviously a fan of brutality and violence, I have to say I think the show was pretty clear that it could go here from the beginning. I mean, ever since they introduced Elsa the Bowel Hunter, who disembowels people and kills people, and then they come back, and I think it was pretty clear that the show always had this in it, I guess, potentially.
Yeah, it went a little further than I thought it would. Or at the very least, they showed a little more than I thought they would.
Yeah, but I was wondering about whether or not you could call it gratuitous. Like, the problem with Re:Zero...
I don't think so. I would disagree. I mean, I've seen people call it gratuitous, but I disagree entirely because that was why it hurt. I mean, that was why it hit the way it did.
Yeah, so here's the weird thing with Re:Zero, though, because you could just say, well, to not make it gratuitous, they could just, kill Rem and not have the poor little demon girl get tortured like she was. But the thing is, because it's Re:Zero and we know time is going to get reset, if people just die normally, like, it's not going to hit you at all at this point because it's not permanent. They need to go above and beyond for you to really be like, oh god, this is messed up.
Yeah,
so.
they need to go above and beyond, and like that scene, even if that had been the ultimate ending, if they hadn't shown it, that scene wouldn't have hit the same way.
Oh, so quick question. Was the violence life on the same level as what you say, like maybe the violence in Berserk or in Elfenlied?
It was somewhere between Berserk and Elfenlied. Yes, as in it was above Berserk, which really is not nearly as dark as I would have thought. And
well, the Berserk manga goes into other.
Yeah, we just haven't seen it in the Berserk anime yet. But I'm going off the first two episodes, and it wasn't. Nobody got their guts ripped out. Well, you know what? Actually, they did show guts getting ripped out. Oh, wow. But there was no heart plopping out on the floor and rolling around. Nothing quite on that scale.
I seem to have missed the guts, so don't tell me where I missed them. I don't need to know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised.
It wasn't that pronounced, but I did notice it.
I'm surprised they didn't do the censor effect where they try to make it all black so you don't see the detail too much. They went the other route. They wanted you to see it, which is why I was a little bit, like I said, it was why I was a little bit surprised. Like, I kind of got the feeling they were going to go where they went, but I didn't think that they were going to do the whole, you're going to watch this happen, which was very thematic. I mean, like, they were forcing Subaru to watch it, and we were being forced into his shoes with him watching it happen.
Yeah, I mean, we did, aside from the graphic violence, I mean, we did learn a lot this episode. I mean, it's pretty clear that your theory about Subaru being, a proxy for one of the witches is probably correct at this point.
Yeah, something along that line is going on.
Yeah, and what did you make of that bit at the end where there's the big shadow monster over the mansion?
Oh, that was Puck.
That was Puck?
That was totally Puck. Yeah, it had his earring.
Oh my god, I am so freaked out now.
It's also the same voice actress that does Puck. Some friends and I were just comparing, because we were all a little bit, like, in shock at the end of the episode. None of us were really sure what we just watched. But we kind of sat around just discussing it and comparing clips, and it's the same actress that does Puck's voice, and we think that, like, the lines line up. Like, it was when he, like, I was a little put off, like, or not put off, but confused when the line "my daughter" was used. But I think that was Puck saying that. I don't think that it was the jealous witch or anything along those lines. It was really creepy.
You telling me that just, like, made it extra super disturbing, because I only saw that scene once. I thought of going back to watch it to try to figure out what was going on there, and then I was just like, no, I don't want to.
I'll tell you one more reason, and the thing that this kind of gave me chills when I went back and watched, like, episode 1 or 2. I skipped through the scenes and several to find it, but it's the scene where Amelia says, "I do have a trump that I could use, but I'll be the only one standing if I use it."
Oh. Ouch.
Yeah, and then she says something about her contract, and he says, "Don't worry, if it comes to that, I'll honor my contract."
I'm seriously just sitting here, like, hugely creeped out now, thinking that huge shadow monster was Puck. Like, I don't know how they did it and made it so effective, but I am like just wow, just saw a horror movie sort of feeling over here.
Yeah, usually horror movies don't get under my skin because I kind of, I know where they're going. And I expect that, and I don't care that much. I just don't get that invested. But I'm already really invested in these characters, so yeah, this hit me harder than a horror movie could have, and I am totally creeped out.
Yeah, my god. So, like, do you think that maybe his loyalty has kind of shifted from Amelia to Rem at this point?
I think that he's still very much on the Amelia, I gotta save Amelia train. I think that he already went out of his way to save Rem too, and I don't think that he's even putting a choice between them at the moment. You know, it's all the same.
Well, I think he wants to kind of save everybody on his team. I was just wondering if maybe over time it's going to become become less of, Amelia is my number one end all be all, and it's going to become Rem. Just because I think I kind of want that to happen, just because it actually subverts, first girl wins.
Yeah, I want that to happen, but I think they're going to stick with Amelia. I think that there's going to be a lot more that happens with Amelia.
Yeah. Okay. I'm beginning to wonder if the whole purpose of this exercise, if everything that's happening is to, like, turn Subaru into a better vessel for the witch or something like that. Like, I wonder if all the stuff with the crown is really even that important.
I've had a couple of debates about the second arc, and whether or not that second arc was about targeting Subaru or about targeting Amelia. Mm-hmm. And I was always on board thinking it was about Subaru.
Yeah.
And now even more, I'm thinking this is about Subaru. This witch stuff, it's all about Subaru. Amelia might have some part to play in it too, and I think that their two stories are probably going to parallel in a sense. She'll be in the throne war. He'll be in the whole witch thing. And I'm not entirely sure how they're going to tie those together. Yeah, there's two really interesting things that could be going on in the show, and I hope they have the time left in the anime to focus on both of them and really do something good with them.
Yeah, me too. Just one more thing. I found it weird that I guess he's Beetlejuice, the priest of sloth guy. And he was going on telling everyone, "You're very slothful. You're very slothful." And meanwhile, he wasn't slothful in the slightest. He was like really manic and energetic. Actually, making him manic kind of makes him like an evil Subaru, right?
You know what? You know what's really funny is that he's voiced by the same actor that did Kirito.
Oh, really? That is a weird connection.
Yeah. So I'm just listening to Kirito in that voice, and it's just like, this is so weird.
Kirito, no, you spent too much time playing the game. Come back to reality.
You finally snapped. Yeah, no, he was all kinds of creepy.
Okay, so on the one hand, we're really into ReZero. On the other hand, I'm gonna have freaking nightmares tonight. So yeah, great.
Yeah. I got a question actually before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of his whole biblical reference thing, where he kept pulling out his scripture, and he kept hinting at, like, little world-building things that probably were meaningful, that were kind of, I don't know, they're almost code, because we don't really know what he meant for sure yet.
I think I was kind of in a state of shock throughout the whole episode, and a lot of what he was saying didn't even really register. I could go back and try to figure it out, but you know what? I don't think I'm going to.
All right, well, we'll see soon, I think.
Yeah.
They gotta give us something.
I think the next episode can't be as intense. I don't think that would be possible, so. I mean, it might, although Subaru is going to have his, like, rampage of revenge soon, I think, because I think that has to happen, right? So.
I think Subaru's gotta get, somewhere in here, Subaru's gotta get his power up. And you know what? There's this little part of me that's wondering, is this a villain story? Is this the makings of a villain story? Because if they were to go that way with ReZero, it would fit.
It would be cool. I would be up for that. I'm still reeling from the fact that it's Puck. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, me too. I understand.
Okay, so let's move on. Oh god, now we're gonna go to Sweetness and Lightning.
Yeah, you're ordering here.
But you know what? Thank God for Sweetness and Lightning. Thank God.
No, I actually did watch these in that order, so.
Okay. So I really like this episode. I like the way, I don't remember his name, but I like the way Teacher Dad was kind of trying to negotiate the correct way forward. And he's like, is it appropriate for me to be, going and cooking dinner with a student? And then someone tells him, well, why don't, you should ask her mother. And it's like, of course. And then he's like really confident that's the right way forward. But then, of course, the mother isn't available. So then he's like confused again. And I just thought it was like, I hate to say it was good because it was realistic, because I don't like anime to necessarily be realistic all the time, but considering how this show is about the character relationships, I thought it was totally appropriate that he was trying to figure out, like, what is the appropriate level of closeness for me to have with the students, so. And it was just a lot of fun watching them do their cooking thing.
Yeah, the cooking in particular, like, I really like the scene where he goes out of his way and he holds his hand right with the knife and whatever that vegetable was, and then he just, like, tries to force the knife through the object, and it flies across it. lands in front of his daughter. I just thought that was really, really funny, and it was a cool little animation gag. You know, like that wouldn't have worked if it were just a picture. It was the animation in there just really did something special.
Yeah, and I related to that because my knife skills are pretty close to his.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I mean, I cut vegetables all the time for cooking, but I still don't like know how to do it properly. I just try to do it really slowly, so I do it as safely as possible. So I just kind of
that's way better. That's way better than trying to pretend like you know what you're doing when you don't.
Oh, if I tried to pretend I knew what I was doing, I would have no fingers, so I can't take that risk.
No, I kind of just felt like I wanted to jump in there and be like, okay, get out of the way. This is how this works. Show them all. This is how you use the knife. There was another scene, too, where he's holding his thumb out. I'm like, no, don't do that. Of course, they didn't go anywhere with it. There were no thumbs lost.
Yeah, on this show, I don't want anybody to ever get, like, even a paper cut. Like, no damage to anyone, ever.
I do wonder what the one girl, why she's so afraid of knives.
Yeah, like, did she have a traumatic experience with knives, or I don't, like, and why is she so, well, I guess maybe the reason why she wants to cook so badly, so she can get over it, but maybe she's just not ready to handle them yet. I don't quite get what's going on there. Yeah,
I mean, I really like the story with the dad and his daughter. I'm not so fond of her part in it yet, but I also have to say, like, we don't really know her part too much. Kind of right now, she's just kind of I don't know, she's kind of pathetic. Am I the only one who gets...
Maybe pathetic is a bit strong because
strong.
Because I guess I kind of relate to her, but since I didn't learn how to cook until fairly late, but she isn't pathetic, but she's kind of, to me anyway, but she's kind of comically inept. So.
Yeah, she's inept would be a better word. I don't know. She can't cook. She can't use a knife. She doesn't have any friends at school. She does. Very, very sad all the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you're overselling your need for help a little here.
Well, hopefully she'll grow very fast, or else that's going to get old.
Yeah. If she does grow, then there's really... I mean, my complaint turns into a compliment, really, for it if she is going to grow. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think there's much else to say about this episode other than, it was adorable, so...
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I really like the part where the daughter peeks under the table and she sees, and I'm going to forget her name now, the schoolgirl's name, like, written on the bottom of the table.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either, but that was cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. Okay, so we're going to move on to Rewrite 2, which I actually missed something in this episode and didn't realize it until I was reading about it later on Twitter, because there's one scene where Ribbon Girl gets under the covers with the boy, and then she all of a sudden, just without doing anything, gets out from under the covers and leaves.
He farted on her.
I didn't. I often do not have the volume on very loud because I don't want to disturb Gwen. So I miss things like people farting in little ghost faces, I guess. So yeah, I had no idea what was going on there. I was like, did she suddenly change her mind? Did she leave the oven on? Like, what's going on there? Anyway, this episode kind of got everybody together really quickly, so they're now on like this little team, and it felt kind of disjointed, but I don't even think that's a bad thing. So I think this show is almost like trying to be disjointed, if that makes any sense. It's just got like this really bizarre tone to it that I can't quite put my finger on.
They're very much dragging us along. Like, there's this one scene where, like, last episode, they very casually dropped the fact that supernatural things and superpowers exist. And then in this episode, they very casually showed us that the protagonist has them, and nobody else is necessarily aware of the fact that they're real. And just continued right along with...
Wait. Maybe I missed something. How did they drop that the protagonist has superpowers? What did I miss?
There's that scene with the boob groping deal. Right before that, he mentions he mentions, like, you can't be sure that people don't have superpowers. And
okay.
And, well, what, do you have them? And he gets all nervous and looks away.
Oh, okay, you meant that. Okay, I thought when you said it was confirmed, I thought you meant we'd, like, seen him do something, and I was like, what did I miss? But
I did catch that scene. Was the jumping around in the first episode. I mean, I kind of took this as confirmation that we that the first time we saw him jumping around, like, 20 feet through the air, that was, him using superpowers or something.
Okay.
We did see that happen. We just had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I, for some reason, thought when he did that, I was like, oh, well, maybe he has some kind of special forces training. Maybe he's a weird child soldier sort of deal. So I don't know what I was thinking.
At this point, any of those things could kind of come together, and it would all work.
Yeah, maybe he has superpowers that were instilled in him in the child soldier program. We just have no way of knowing. Yeah. So I'm going to turn the volume up next time I watch Rewrite to be on the lookout for farts. And but I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it this week. I'm enjoying it, but I'm waiting for it to kind of like give me something to sink my teeth into, I guess.
Yeah, this is your first Key story, is that right?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, I'd heard of them for a long time. I think I just never got around to watching.
Yeah, it has a different feel to it than a lot of the other Key stuff, probably because the main scenario writer's different. But I will say that I really noticed that the humor of it came back in this. Like, in Little Busters, like, the comedy it wasn't very good, I thought. And I'm watching this, I'm like, the comedy of this is right back up there with what I've expected from, any other Key anime. So that was kind of cool to see.
Okay, that's cool. Alright, so we're going to move on to Orange, Episode 2. And the show was kind of frustrating, but, I think it's kind of intentionally frustrating because the part where she makes the lunch for Kakeru and then doesn't give it to him, at first I'm like, come on, give him the damn lunch! But, like, you can't be that mad at her, but just because she has the letter, that's not going to change her entire personality and make it easy for her to interact with him. But at the same time, I mean, I guess the show must be doing its job, because already this far in the show, I'm already like, come on, do the things in the letter. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Just the fact, I found myself feeling the same way. Just the fact that we're already like, follow the rules, do the right thing, no regrets. Yeah, it's not us.
And apparently, that time he went out for bread with them, his mother committed suicide. See, I preferred
kind of what I thought was going to happen, so I was kind of like, oh god, I've got this whole story figured out.
Yeah,
Wait, did you say bread?
Yes, there was a bread scene in the first episode.
Does this mean that Orange is like, what if Panda Peace was like a more dramatic series?
Well, there is a bakery in it, so that's not as far-fetched as...
And there is a girl who works at the bakery, her parents...
See, what I was hoping had happened in that first episode was he got food poisoning from one of those bread buns and then was out for 2 weeks, but he was afraid to say anything because he didn't want to insult the bakery girl because he was afraid she'd take it personally. And then he's like, well, actually, my mother committed suicide and I needed to take 2 weeks off for the move and the funeral. I was like, I like my version so much better.
your version was better. I agree.
Yeah. But you know what's really interesting? If they hadn't been doing those like scenes at the end showing her as an adult with a child and she's married to Sua, I think I would have a very different feeling about this show. Because if they hadn't had those scenes at the end and we'd never seen her as an adult, I'd just be like thinking like, oh, okay, good. I'm rooting for her to save Kakeru. Maybe she'll save him and she'll end up with him. But now I'm thinking, wait, if that happens, that's going to destroy her current life. And she seems happy in the future. So I'm not sure what I'm rooting for now.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's even like, if we should even be considering it I'm kind of wondering, why are they showing us that? I kind of suspect that she's, instead of being like a girlfriend to him, she'll wind up as more of a mother figure. That I kind of feel like that could actually wind up awkward really fast, depending on how they do it, but that's kind of the feeling I got from this. He even says it in the episode. You're like, a mom.
Yeah. I did think of that maybe he's going to think of her as kind of more of a maternal figure because she's following advice from her mom self.
Right. Well, that is what's going on, yes.
But I don't know. I guess part of me thinks it would be cool if, like, maybe she saves Kakeru's life somehow and they end up together and then, like, reality splits and then it's like a sliding doors thing. You've got her in the future married to Sua and her in the future with Kakeru or something like that.
Yeah, I could see them going that way. I could also see it following the original path. Like, I think I said this last week too. I kind of suspect they all got a letter.
Yeah.
And that they're all going to be in on it together. And rather than it being kind of really focusing on a romance between her and Kakeru, is that his name?
Kakeru, yeah.
Kakeru. Yeah, Kakeru, okay. Yeah, it'll be a more group friendship type of a story. That's just the vibe I'm getting right now. But I'm not really sure. I mean, obviously there's going to be some romance involved in there somewhere.
Yeah, although I think if she saves him and they just immediately kind of go into friend territory and there's no romantic tension, it's going to feel like a bait and switch, so...
Maybe, but I mean, like, are we sure that she's even going to be the one that saves him? I mean,
That's true.
Obviously she'll be involved, but if they all did get a letter, then, it'd be a group effort.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm speculating at this point. I guess I don't know for sure that they all got a letter. They just keep. There's like all these little scenes with like weird eye shifting and like this weird head nodding, like where they're acknowledging knowing things that we don't know. Like, what is that about?
Well, if they all got a letter, that would explain it. So
It would. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So we'll be keeping our eyes on Orange, see who else has letters, if everybody has a letter. Moving on to the Morose Mononokean 2. And I am still really digging the show, in part because they kind of gave us, even though it was episodic, dealing with another yokai like we thought it was going to be, they kind of gave us another little bit of the larger plot. And as long as they keep doing that, I'm fine with it being episodic. But I was thinking while I was watching it, you know, the two dudes are yelling at each other again. Is Lifesong going to be pissed and not want to watch the show anymore?
I actually haven't seen this one yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Okay, well, I spoiled it for you that there's something plot relevant that happens.
They're still shouting at each other. Got it.
A little bit.
it gets better. Less shouting, or
I think it does.
Okay. Good.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to New Game Episode 2, and yeah, I'm getting into the show, and I have like virtually zilch to say about it. I'm just liking it. Sal, why don't you talk, since I know you're into it.
First, I'd like to apologize for my little ramble about how the main girl was being taught 3D at the first day of the job. Apparently, according to someone on Twitter, like an indie game dev, basically that's usually a thing in Japan. Like, sometimes you apply to a certain position, but then you end up being trained to do something else.
Yeah, well, I saw that people talking about that on Twitter also, but I don't think you have to apologize for it. I mean, I think from our background that seemed weird, but, you know, it's just, apparently that's how it is. So.
At the same time, it does make sense why whenever you'd have a company that would usually do like 2D sprites, but then they would switch to 3D, why sometimes when they do that transition, the 3D models animations don't really look that great. Like, I guess one example would be like, compare Atelier Rorona to Gus 2D games. Like, the 2D stuff is obviously superior with that transition. Like, it wasn't really a smooth one, for example.
I don't know. The stuff in Rorona looked fine to me, but I'm thinking of Rorona Plus. Maybe
I'm talking about Vanilla Rorona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lifesong, you were going to say?
I was just going to say, I actually haven't seen the episode yet. I was just going to say and comment to, you know, being trained on the job. That's actually a lot of how my job has gone. It's been, here, you, learn how to do this.
Here's a question, Life. Since you're in IT, is the new stuff you're learning consistent to the field, or is it something that has nothing to do with your field that you have to learn?
Oh, no, it's totally consistent to the field. And I would say that I'm kind of past the point where my job reflects what is going on in New Game. I mean, I've been there for a while now. But, you know, when I was first started working there, there was a lot of, here's the book, go learn how to do this. We're going to teach you. And I kind of thought that was interesting, because, you know, I wasn't really expecting that when I started up. And you know, looking around and talking to people, it's kind of just, they kind of got a mentality of, there's a lot of older people where I work, and, you know, that was how it was when they were my age. So that's just kind of how they think.
Yeah, I guess there's this whole perception that on-the-job training doesn't exist anymore, but it really depends on what field you're talking about. So I think maybe it's just that it used to be ubiquitous, and it's not anymore, but it still happens.
Yeah, I think also there's this mentality in Japan of once you've got a job, you know, that's where you're at for good. You got a job now, you're going to stay here, you're not going to leave, so of course we're going to train you.
Yeah. You know, as much as I enjoyed this episode, I have very little to say about it. I kind of hope New Game gets really popular so they de-fictionalize Fairy Story and I can play it, because it looks cool. Sal, do you have anything else you want to talk about with New Game?
Oh yeah, the hedgehog scene was kind of cute.
Remind me what happened with the hedgehog.
The one with the shy girl, where apparently the hedgehog caused her. It was the only time where she actually smiled for the first time.
Oh yeah, did she say she had like a hedgehog at home or something like that? I should apologize for being I was distracted while I watched some of these episodes because my child is going through an interesting phase I probably shouldn't go into. But some of the time when I was watching these, I was actually kind of distracted. But okay, New Game, continuing to be fun and nice chicken soup for the soul after ReZero destroying my soul.
And also the important thing is, like, you're not supposed to talk about your project to your closest friend, you know, because of what happened at the end of the episode. Yeah,
first rule of Fairy Story 3, do not talk about Fairy Story.
Or just developing a project in general. You don't talk about it until it's done. that can cost you your job.
Yeah, I do have a thing to say. I am interested to see how she's going to adapt to this task when she has such minimal training. Like, I know she's, like, going to be learning on the job and stuff, but, like, is she going to be like, I have to do XYZ, and I have no idea how to do this. Help!
Have they shown her, like, her artwork yet? I mean, like, she's applied to, like, an art position, and supposedly she at least knows how to draw.
She's doing character modeling for, like, NPCs.
Well, I assume she must have been
drawing?
Yeah,
but I assume she must have been a pretty good artist to get hired on that basis. So I guess we'll
you would think.
I hope we'll see her artwork eventually. So, okay, we're going to move on to Cheer Boys episode 2. I'm continuing to dig the show and its sense of humor. They introduce the chubby dude who joins the team, who kind of reminds me of the chubby dude from iShield 21 a little bit, so that makes me happy. And I continue to love Weird Glasses Guy, who quotes American Beauty like he's quoting something really obscure.
I actually didn't know the movie reference. Is that what? But I guess I said what it was in the show. So
I saw that movie and I didn't know the reference.
Yeah, I think he's the best part of the show. I'm like, yes, I've met that guy before.
Yeah. Other than that, I was a little bit confused when they're talking about, all the different cheerleading positions, and then at the end they have, like, tall glasses guy trying to lift up chubby guy, and I was like, wait, this is the opposite of what you guys just said.
Yeah, I think that was just to be funny.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much I like, the two dudes who are like, we're just here for the chicks. Like, good luck with that.
Well, they didn't actually say that. It was the other guy who asked them if they were there for the chicks, but I guess that, maybe that is what they're there for, but...
It was implied.
It was implied, yeah.
So it was kind of impressive. They managed to introduce 3 characters in this episode, and it pretty much worked.
Yeah, I mean, like, even when Chubby Dude shows up, you've got the other dude sitting over there failing his food challenge.
Oh, yeah, and there was Ladybug Dude. That was
oh, yeah, and he's... Oh, man, that, I facepalm a little bit. Like, what? Come on.
Because it's not a joke you've really, I don't think you've seen before, but it's like, oh, a bug, and you're like, oh, I can relate to that, and you see, oh, it's a ladybug? That's the one bug that even people who hate bugs are not scared of. How are you scared of that?
I mean, like, if you open a closet and thousands of dead ladybugs poured out on them or something creepy like that happened, okay, yeah, that would be bad, but no, it's a ladybug, come on.
Okay, so we're going to move on to D. Grayman, episode 1. I think there's only been 1, or has there been 2? 2. Okay, I'm actually not watching this one, so I'm going to turn it over to Sal, who I think had a question about this.
Oh yeah, so we're going to refer to, like, what was the confusion that led to you with Funimation when you watched D. Grayman HALLOW?
Oh, yeah, I completely messed up last week. What happened was, D. Grayman, when you go to Funimation's website and you click their... I forget what the title is for the new series, but it looks like you're pulling up, the new show. You'd expect it to be the episode 1 of the new show. That's all it's going to be out, right? Well, I watched that, thinking I was watching the new show. I'm like, this is really familiar. Well, next week I go back and look at it, and I pull up the episode list, and I realize that there's 104 episodes. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they actually played the old episode for me, because I hadn't watched the show yet. So they didn't even play the new series for me. So I hadn't actually seen it.
Yeah, that's not as good as me watching Real Life episode 13, thinking it was 1, but, you're getting up there.
Yeah.
Give you the DIT seal of approval.
Well, thank you.
But continue on with that confusion. Like, it seems that Funimation did this with a couple other shows. Like, for example... Danganronpa 3 Future Arc Episode 1 is supposed to be an entirely new series, nothing to do with the original rushed Danganronpa anime, and yet the episode number is 13. And when it's like, this show is designed for people who've played Danganronpa 1 and 2 the games, not watched the anime, so now you're going to have all these people come in and watch. It's like, what the hell's going on? Like, what is this?
Yeah, to be fair to D. Grayman, it actually is a direct continuation of the original D. Grayman.
Yes, that one's fair enough.
But, I'll also say I'm actually glad that I rewatched the first episode of the first series because, wow, it was hard to get back into it. There's so much going on in the show. Like, it goes full on with the character being told that, oh, right, I have to remember he's getting devoured from the inside by the soul of some other guy. Right, his parent was a creepy clown dude. then his master gets murdered in like the next episode, and you're just full force back into things. I still haven't completely wrapped my head around all of what's going on. It's really hard when you've had that big of a break between episodes to get back into a show and just have it be like full steam ahead.
Right.
That's all I've got to say about it.
So
Have you watched it, Sal? Or
not yet. So I'm gonna guess that it takes place. He already has the power up called the Crown Clown, right? The one where he can turn like his arm into a sword.
Yeah, he has that power. They go into the whole thing like with the arc that he can control, and he can control the arc because he's got the soul of the 14th. And I'm just saying this stuff because I guess
the Noah clan, right?
It's not. Yeah, it's not going to make a lick of sense until you get to the point where it's important in the show.
Oh, basically the thing where Alan is basically now part of the Noah clan, who are like the servants of Millennium Earl.
Yes, except he betrayed them or something, and then they killed him.
And then he reincarnated, right?
He grabbed like the nearest person he could find and imprinted his soul into his memories into them, and like slowly his memories are returning.
That's
and
ridiculous.
Alan is, I don't know if he's completely becoming him, but apparently he's going to become him or something. I could have told you all of this stuff in great detail back when I was first watching the show, but I feel very disconnected from it right now.
I know what it was, because I remember I was reading the manga, and I was during that arc when they were going inside the Noah's Ark. I think after the part when Alan used the Crown Clown to fight the Noah member, I think Tiki, where he transformed into like a monstrous form.
Yeah, he transforms into the giant, into the gray what was it? I don't even remember. He has the thorn crown. The show is full of offensive religious symbology, and it just doesn't care. But so he fights the Noah guy, and they give that little bit of backstory, and then the Millennium Earl tries to end the Earth, or maybe he just tries to kill off the exorcists, and Alan saves them with Noah's Ark.
I think the whole thing was that he was going to destroy the Noah's Ark they were in, because he was already going to create a new one.
Oh, right. Then
I'm gonna guess that
reminding me of that because I didn't have that yet.
I'm gonna guess that the one that Alan has could be the current one, the one that was being destroyed.
It's the abandoned arc. It's the abandoned arc, I think.
Wait, that was also how Alan got to that point too. Was that someone gave him control of the arc before that, and that's how he used it to get to save everyone after he awakened the Crown Clown power.
Right. He did that, and he does that because he can do that because he knows the song to do it, the real creepy piano music that is from the memories of Mana, which is the 14th Noah that got killed. Confused yet?
I'm confused.
Yeah, I know where it's going. Well, trying to remember. Wait, I swore that Mana was the person that cursed Alan after he killed his master when he became a demon.
No. Okay, I might have the names wrong here too. Mana might have been his parent figure guy who he turned into a demon and then killed.
He brought him back as a demon, and then he killed him to put his soul to rest, but was cursed before that.
Right, but I don't know. I don't know that curse was involved. It's just been so long, and there's so many intricate little details.
The curse in general was just the marking he has on his face that lets him tell which people are demons and which are not.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend that you both reread the D. Grayman Encyclopedia for next week.
It's really bad.
Okay, and then we're going to move on to...
It's just a pretty convoluted show. They have to make sure you keep up with it to keep track of everything.
Doesn't help
that the creator is on constant hiatus because she's sick. So there's a lot of stuff you have to take in.
Okay, but let's move on to the last show in our Senpai League for this week. Another one I'm not watching, Berserk 1 and 2. I should mention, listeners, on Otakusphere Weekly, on Otakusphere, the actual website, not the podcast, my friend Adam is doing little Berserk recaps for us. So if you're watching Berserk, you might want to check those out. But anyway, Sal, how are you liking this Berserk? Did we talk about this last week? I don't think we did.
We did.
We
mentioned talked about episode
1. Oh, man. Okay. Memory is going. But, you did not talk about Berserk last week, did you?
He did. He saw it.
I think I did.
Yep. We were both talking about, the CG and how we
okay, now I remember.
Yeah, and we were saying how we both kind of enjoyed the show, despite the CG being kind of weird in some spots.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now I do remember you guys discussing episode 1. How did episode 2 strike you, Sal?
kind of interested where they're going. Like, basically he got captured by this group of knights. I guess going back, I guess the whole problem is that before this whole thing, like, apparently Guts killed a bunch of people who were possessed by demons. Some of them were children, and people think that Guts is like this crazy killer, but in reality, he was just trying to protect himself from all the other demons that are trying to kill him.
Oh, they weren't demons at that point. That was, I think you're thinking of the end of the Golden Arc, right?
No, I'm referring to an arc that was skipped in this anime that a friend of mine told me about.
Oh, okay. I don't know that much of that part of the story. Guts kills everyone unceremoniously. That's kind of what he does.
It was still kind of entertaining. Like, yeah, he gets tortured, takes the person hostage, and now he's being chased again by both demons in this other group. So curious to see where they're gonna go next with it.
Yeah, they're jumping ahead. Like, I think they're jumping ahead, but it worked. It did feel like it connected right back to what I know of the Golden Arc stuff, and I felt like they did a good job of slipping in little bits and pieces.
I did like how Guts pissed off the girl. I think her name was Farnese. How he just made her angry while she was torturing him, just because they think that basically like what she did to him was nothing to what he went through. When Griffith used I think it was the Vigilant to summon the God Hand, and he became...
Griffith just stares there.
Where he became Femtos, and then, violated Guts' beloved in front of him while he was being killed by a bunch of other demons, losing his eye and his arm. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I don't watch Berserk, by the way.
So, going back, it was kind of great just seeing that this experience, he's like, yeah, this is nothing compared to what I went through.
I like the little the line with him, and they're doing the dark, edgy, we insult religion thing. I don't normally appreciate that much, but I thought he got a pretty good hit in on the whole these people are crazy thing, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, and I think for what my friend told me, it's kind of crazy about the demons. Like, the reason why not many people know that demons exist in the world yet is because apparently they exist in their own little astral plane. And only in a few cases can they, like, transfer from that plane to our plane and actually attack people.
Yeah, most of the world isn't seeing them quite as frequently as Guts is. They're kind of chasing Guts around everywhere he goes. I mean, he stops moving.
All because of the brand that was placed on him, since he was supposed to be a sacrifice for the ritual that Griffith did.
Right, so I guess technically the whole story is about the ritual is actually still in progress, and he's running around.
And Guts wants to find Griffith and kill him for what he did.
Gotta kill Griffith, gotta save Casca, basically. I will say that I like, the one thing that really notable to me in this episode, I like the fact that there was a lot of brighter colors in the episode, which might sound kind of odd, but I noticed it in particular because that meant there was a lot less of that awkward shading.
I guess the problem with it was just in the beginning, because I guess the forest was kind of weird. I guess it was like the forest colors contrast to the models. That's what probably led to the weird shading.
Yeah, this is all bright, the Holy Knights and whatnot. So there'll probably be a lot more dark scenes, and I'll be back to complaining about how the shading is terrible. Yeah. But I like the fact that it wasn't as heavy this episode. Yeah.
I've noticed that whenever a show is supposed to be dark, not whenever, but very often, like, they make the entire color palette really dark, and sometimes it's hard to tell what's going on. Sometimes I want to be like, guys, I can understand the tone of the show is dark, and yet you can still use colors other than black and brown. It's okay.
Yeah, black, brown, and gray. Yet, please, there are other colors. Yeah. At least use some white and some bright. Bright gray. Give me some bright gray in there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and from the looks of it, it looks like Berserk's going to be 24 episodes, so they might cover some good ground with this series.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is that it's kind of just going to go to a point and then be like, oh right, now we're back to waiting again forever, because that's what Berserk needs. I
mean, I did hear that the manga keeps going on hiatus because the guy just can't get enough of Idolmaster.
Yeah, the joke, and I think this is hilarious because apparently he's a big fan of the Idolmaster anime or the Idolmaster
games in general.
And he draws lots of doujins for the Idolmaster games. So the going joke is that he's too busy drawing Idolmaster doujins in order to actually finish writing Berserk.
That is pretty funny.
I think that's great.
I thought it was that he was too addicted to the Idolmaster games that he just stopped working on Berserk.
I don't know. I don't know the details all that well. I just heard other people talking about it, so I could be relating them wrongly.
Yeah.
Either way, I find
it's funny still. It's like this guy does this really dark and messed up manga playing, out of all things, Idolmaster. You would never imagine that.
One comment I saw in Crunchyroll was something along the lines of, the true ending of the series is going to be Guts joins the Idolmaster team.
I'd be okay with that.
I would love to see Guts sing like "I'm Lady." That would be amazing.
He puts on a performance. He puts on a performance of "I'm Lady" for Griffith, and Griffith just bows down and repents.
Yes.
All done.
And like the darkness in the world just disappears and everything is happy again.
Oh man, that would be.
Well, now you know you're never going to get it. If Berserk ever ends, you're never going to get an ending that's quite that good. So you know,
Never.
it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of our Senpai League. I think we should take a quick break because I could use some water, and then we'll discuss everything else. So, you guys ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, welcome back, everyone, to the Kohai League or the New Stuff League. Or it's a little bit fuzzy what we're talking about right now, but it's anime, and that's all that matters. So, starting with Alderamin On The Sky, Episode 1, and Alderamin sounds like one of those pharmaceuticals you see commercials for.
It does, now that you mention
Ask your doctor about Alderamin if you're experiencing chronic joint pain.
Shall we do another skit like the Kisniver one with Alderamin?
Alright, I'll have that one for next week. I don't know. think it's too soon to go down the pharmaceutical well again. Okay, I like this, but I think the thing I liked the most about it was, like, the teensy little Care Bears they were all carrying around. At first I was like, well, they're not really Care Bears, they're just cute little things, but then, like...
No, it totally does a Care Bear stare.
It does a Care Bear stare, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I caught that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like this okay, but honestly, if it hadn't been for the Care Bears, I don't know if I would be, like, feel that compelled to watch the next one. Like, to me, it was just okay. It was perfectly pleasant, it was well put together, I just didn't feel really compelled at the end of it. What about you?
I actually really liked it. I think it's one of my more anticipated shows right now. I like the way it put everything together in the first episode. You've got a good bit of dilemma, and the characters just... I know who they all are and what part they're going to play right off the bat. I don't know. It hasn't done that much yet, but I tend to like the type of story I think it's going to be. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they were actually on the ship for a little while because, like, even in shows that take place, you know, during a time when sea travel was, well, like that. I don't really know exactly what time period I should be comparing it to, but like, usually it's like, oh, we're going on a ship journey, and then, like, 3 weeks later, you know, you very rarely see them actually on the ship. So
Yeah, and the ship was, I mean, we actually had, good 5-10 minutes in the ship where they're all just talking to each other and kind of showing character quirks and talking about chess.
Yeah. So, you're definitely, staying on this, right?
Yeah, there was a lot I liked about the first episode. Like, you know, even with the princess and her introduction and the way the protagonist reacts to the princess and kind of the way their characters are established, I felt like there's a lot of potential for it to go somewhere good.
Well, you know how the main character says that he's a commoner and he was found in an orphanage, blah, blah, blah. But based on the way he was acting towards the princess, I was beginning to think maybe he's not a commoner at all.
I don't know if he's a commoner or not. You know, whether or not the implication is that he's actually royalty or that he just has high expectations is an interesting question. I guess we'll have to wait and see where that goes.
Yeah, that was the only question I was really left with at the end of this episode. Like, what's the deal with him exactly?
Yeah, it could just be that, you know, he's very cynical, and that's where they're. And that cynicism is what they're intending to explore.
No, but I don't think so, because if he was really cynical, he would just assume the princess was an idiot, and he wouldn't expect anything from her.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did even kind of, like, they had a little bit of a conversation about, you know, that wasn't very like you, and he's like, yeah, you know, it wasn't, but I still kind of wanted there to be more to it than her acting like a child.
Yeah. Okay, so this was a quality show. I just feel like I don't have much to say about it at the moment, so... We're going to move on to Tales of Zesteria, or Zesteria, I don't know. Tales of something.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Zesteria?
Yeah, Zesteria.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Sal. I ended up liking this quite a bit. I mean, it was ufotable or UFO table, whatever the hell. I can't pronounce anything tonight, I'm sorry.
I think it's ufotable.
I think it actually is ufotable. I don't know for sure.
Wait, it's ufotable, not UFO table?
Yeah, because it's all lowercase together, so UFO table.
I don't know which is actually accurate. I've only ever heard Western fans try to pronounce it. I don't know what the official is.
Maybe if, like, one of us... Well, you're going to Otakon, right, Lifeson?
Yeah, I'll be there.
You'll go to some pro panel, and everybody else will be asking, like, topical questions. You'll be like, how do you pronounce ufotable?
Life. Talk to the people at Aniplex about that, you know?
Yeah, they would be able to tell me.
They would know. Aniplex would know.
Or I'll get to start an argument, and they'll debate which one it is.
Do it.
Okay, well, you've got your marching orders for cons for the year.
Yeah.
I totally lost my train of thought. This was interesting. The first episode kind of felt very, like, disaster movie-ish, kind of like an epic fantasy disaster, and did not feel very video gamey at all, really, even though I assume it spawned from the Tales of series.
I was actually like... I mean, I didn't even know who was making it when I first watched the anime. I was thinking, okay, I'll get this out of the way, because I'm just previewing everything. I was kind of mind-blown by how good the entire episode was.
Yeah. And then we get to the second episode, where they're basically inside a Tomb Raider game, and that was kind of cool in a different way.
Yeah, you know, and I still didn't really feel like it was gamey. It felt like an episode... Well, it kind of felt like Indiana Jones. I mean, they're exploring.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of Tomb Raider as, like, an old Tomb Raider fan, kind of, but yeah, it still didn't really feel very video gamey. It still kind of felt consistent with the first episode. I don't really know quite how I feel about it yet. Like, I mean, I like, you know, badass princess who cares about her people and can fight off demons on her own.
It kind of has this whole Indiana Jones meets the Tale of King Arthur or something like that, where I bet that this explorer human guy who's living with the Seraph people is going to be the one who goes down and pulls the sword out and is the shepherd. And
probably, yeah.
Probably, you know, I expect all of that.
Oh, did you play the game, Life? Because I know you do play the Tales of games.
I'm a pretty big fan of the Tales of games. Actually, I think the biggest thing that surprises me with this is, like, I can kind of tell based off the fact that I played other Tales of games where, like, the dungeon and stuff would be, but it doesn't feel like they're going through a dungeon. It feels like, you know, oh, this is just an episode of a fantasy show.
Yeah, because I always notice cute fuzzy things. I liked the cute fuzzy things. But that one part where the princess is in the tomb, and then, like, the bug things attack her, and the little fuzzy things protecting her, she can't see him.
I don't think she can see any of them. Like, if you noticed in the first episode, too, there was that girl that she, like, runs through on her horse.
Oh, yeah.
She couldn't see her either. There's something going on there that we don't know what it is yet. Yeah, it's probably related to the way the powers work in the world, but they haven't told us.
I just kind of figured that the Seraph people are kind of like elves or something like that, but they could turn out to be very different. So
I think the Seraph people are not the little creatures.
I meant the people with the I don't even know.
Yeah. I hear the term Seraph and I immediately think, okay, they're going for angel people, but elves is just as well for what they're going for, I guess. The white-haired people.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be keeping up with this one. I think we've touched on it enough for this week. Moving on to Mob Psycho 100 episode 1, and I don't think I'll be keeping up with this. I found the art style to be kind of a turnoff, and the thing is, I didn't think it was bad. It just didn't grab me, and the fact that I didn't like the art style was kind of like the icing on the cake of badness, sort of. Well, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean, maybe.
No, I get what you mean. I was actually pretty impressed by it. I don't know. There's probably not going to be that much to say about it on a regular basis. So I don't know that it's necessarily bad that you feel like dropping out on it. I don't know. I thought the art style. I don't have much to say about it. I felt like the animation was really good though.
I mean, it is Bones after all.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I was just watching and thinking, I don't care for this style. It kind of reminded me of the art style in Tonkatsu DJ Agataro.
Like, imagine if DJ Agataro was animated with, like, a really huge budget.
When they're doing the fight with the ghosts and stuff, it's just, like, very flashy, very colorful, very... I don't know that I really like the style either, but I was impressed by the animation, I guess.
Yeah, I just...
It's like Bones knew that the art was kind of messy, so they decided to have like high budget animation kind of complementing that messiness because it's all sketchy and like washed up colors.
Well, we could also throw this out there for Karen. It's Bones, so it means 3 episodes later it's not going to be as pretty as it is now, so it's going to go downhill. So if you don't like it now, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, okay. I think this is a perfectly good show for people who are not me to watch.
Doesn't Bones tend to do better with their adaptations? Isn't it like their original stuff that gets worse usually?
I just meant the animation quality in general. They're one of those studios, not necessarily that their animation always gets bad, but you can definitely tell a drop off from the first couple of episodes, which is fine. They put extra effort into.
Did it happen with Hero Academia?
I haven't finished Hero Academia, so I
From
can't.
what you watched of it, like did it drop in any moment?
It was pretty good at keeping up animation where it needed the animation.
Yeah, because I was thinking
like what happens with a lot of their shows. When I say drop, I mean like the first couple of episodes will be like super action packed, motion everywhere, and there was a lot of that in this first episode of Mob Psycho. I don't think that probably won't continue.
I mean, considering that the next episode, it seems that the action's going to tone down because they're going to introduce the other characters out of school.
Wait, Sal, you saw Mob Psycho?
Yes, I said in the thing that I watched it.
I love the way you watch like 2 shows. I can't freaking remember what they are. But...
I wrote it on the chat room that I watched it.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My bad. So, how'd you feel? Did you feel more like Life Song? That you kind of dug the animation?
Mm-hmm. Also, I do like the angle that how like the main character he's supposed to be this ridiculous psychic, but yet he's kind of a little gullible considering that he's kind of being manipulated by the exorcist.
The con artist.
Yeah, the con artist.
I feel really dumb for this. What was the name of the other anime that was by the same original creator?
Oh, One Punch Man.
Thank you, One Punch Man. Yeah.
The thing is that the reason why Mob Psycho's art doesn't really look as good as One Punch Man's that this one they base the art of the actual webcomic guy's art, and whereas One Punch Man was based off of Yosuke Murata's art.
Okay, so they did have I thought there was something like that going on. I guess you just explained it.
Because with One Punch Man, is that basically one did the guy did the webcomic one, and then Yosuke Murata basically redraws the one webcomic as One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Except in One Punch Man, like Murata focuses more on Saitama's story, whereas the original mostly focused on the other heroes.
Yeah, I guess Mob Psycho to me felt like the storytelling itself reminded me a lot of One Punch Man, which is also I don't want to say that it's too much of a negative, but One Punch Man doesn't really have that much of a story. So I'm not really expecting too much of a story from Mob Psycho either.
We're just expecting like moments that'll probably make us smile or laugh, which
it'll probably be similar to One Punch Man in that there will be a couple of scenes that are just like, yes, that was amazing. I'm glad I watched the show, and that'll be what it's all about.
Sal, are you going to keep up with Mob Psycho? You think?
Oh hell yeah, man! I loved One Punch Man. I want to see how Bones is going to handle this.
Okay, so this is good. So you guys can tell me what happens when the meter reaches 100, and I can save a little bit of time and not watch it, but I'll still know the most important thing. So. Okay, so moving on to Amanchu, episode 1. And I like this because I pretty much like anything that's underwater. I just, like, whenever I'm in the pool, I just swim underwater. I don't bother swimming on top at all. So, anything that deals with, like, scuba diving and stuff is really cool to me. The only problem I had with this episode is they spend a lot of it in school. And I'm like, you don't have to waste time being in school like every other anime. Spend more time in the water. But I know they wanted to, like, introduce the characters and stuff. And we did get some underwater stuff, so...
You know, you really need to watch Aria.
You know what? I tried a couple of weeks ago, I think. I saw it. It was on either Hulu or Netflix, and I put it on. But the thing is, because it's one of the older shows, like, it wasn't, like, it looked like it wasn't in HD or something.
It's letterboxed. It's not going to be HD. It's going to be in a lower resolution. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it for like a minute, and I was like, oh, I'm so spoiled now.
It does a couple of things you would really appreciate, and one of those is that, like, here are these girls who are probably the right age to be schoolgirls, but they've got this training program they're going through for their career, and there's not a single school scene in the entire show.
Really?
Yep.
That's so cool. All right, I've got to actually... I mean, I've had this list in my head of shows I need to catch up on, and that one's been on there. I need to actually make a physical list so I keep better track of these things, because I don't want to forget and miss out on opportunities to watch them, so I'm just going to have to deal with the low resolution.
Even when it first came out, I wasn't a big fan of that, but then it just has this charm to it. You'll have to see what I mean.
Okay, so what did you think of Amanchu, aside from they were in school?
I spent the whole episode just trying to process what I thought of all the facial expressions the one girl was making. Yeah,
she had almost I want to say it was like a Yotsuba face, but it was like a creepy Yotsuba face.
She even has the green hair. Yeah, the eyes, those eyes that just get all big and round and so weird. and her mouth just opens up like Pac-Man. Her head looks like Pac-Man.
Maybe when they go underwater, she's just gonna be eating fish.
yeah, she'll be eating fish with the Pac-Man head, and it'll just be whatever. That's what she does.
Oh, and how did she, during the part of the episode that did take place underwater? Now, what did she do? She took that pan with her and then used it to trap air.
She trapped air and put a rock on top of it, and then she was using a straw to suck the air out, so she could lay on the bottom.
Can you do that?
That would probably work, at least for a few minutes.
But how did she keep the water from going into the pan in the first place?
Oh, well, there's air in it. You mean, why would the air wouldn't be able to get out?
Yeah, but, I mean, did it have a lid on it or something?
No, as long as you don't turn it. Go do this experiment with a cup. The air won't just get out.
To think, I'd never thought of trying this.
I don't know why I knew that it would work that way, and now I'm I need to double check and make sure I'm not saying something stupid. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it works that way.
It's Life Song right now is actually doing the frying pan trick as we speak.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'm definitely going to keep watching this one and just hope they do more underwater stuff. But I think we'll get there. I don't know if it's going to be every single episode. I
felt like they had the roots of some good storytelling, for the characters anyway, some good character development. I think we're going to get some...
Yeah.
Probably not so much school stuff.
And I thought in the second half of the episode, there was so much emphasis on the girls' butts, the way the camera angles were, but then, I was looking online and, no one else seemed to notice that, so I was do I just have dirty minds or something? I don't know.
I read you writing that, I was just wait, did they? Because I totally didn't notice it. I did find myself wondering, okay, are they trying to sell this as a Yuri-type show? I am not sure. But I didn't notice the butts.
From what I heard about the manga, I think it was basically the type of feeling like an Aria, but with scuba diving.
Yeah, I think it's the same writer. Is that not true?
Yes, I think it is. Wait, let me look it up while y'all talk.
Well, I think it's one of those shows where there's definitely no question Yuri subtext. The question is, will they ever be overt about it?
Well, in Aria, I thought that at first too, and then you kind of get to a point where no, there's actually not.
Yep, it is Kozue Amano, who worked on the Aria manga.
So it's the same writer?
Yep, and it's his current series because Aria already ended.
Yeah, Aria's done. That's interesting. That increases my desire to watch more.
Okay, so we're psyched for that one in the coming weeks. That brings us to our Chibi League and Bananya, episode 2. And to be honest, I'm kind of pissed at Bananya. I was cool with there just being one special kitty banana. Now there's 40 kitty bananas, and I just can't deal. It's too much. Too much, Sal.
I feel the same way. I thought this was gonna be a single okay, it's gonna be this documentary style short following the everyday life of Bananya, but now you have all these other cats. It's where the hell did they come from? I thought they were just when did they get more bananas for the Bananyans to be born? And
I just kind of was oh, so this is a story where this mentally ill person imagines all these cats are living in his bananas, and then his mom comes home at the end of the episode, and that's the door creaking open.
Okay, I don't think that's what's happening, Lisa.
I know it's probably not, but I was just what is this?
Well, yeah.
You had to notice the door opening, though, right? Where
yes.
they all just go back to normal bananas.
Yeah, I did.
But I'm wondering what happens. What if someone grabs those bananas? They're gonna eat them.
Well, they said in the last episode that Bananya's greatest desire in life was to become what? Some
chocolate covered banana with sprinkles.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm just disappointed, because I thought Bananya was special. I thought we had something special. Now it turns around, there's a Bananya on every corner, and it's just like...
Yeah, pretty much every banana has it.
Apparently Bananya is actually a mascot in Japan. Like, I guess almost like Hello Kitty.
That's okay, it's just how... I don't know, do you think the rest of the show it's all going to be the different Bananyas talking, or do you think we're going to go back to just cute Bananya doing his thing? Because I know what I prefer.
Well, they did say that this was the episode focusing on the little hottie female Bananya.
The hottie Bananya.
I don't remember what they called her, but it was something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then at the end, you find out that she needs makeup to be pretty, or else she's just banana yellow or something.
She doesn't use makeup. Her face is like pink or something.
So they made
makeup.
Why are they doing a joke about a cat that's inside a banana using makeup?
I don't know. Still funnier than Panda Peas.
That's true, but well, I guess we've already established that, and we can now just assume that's going to be the case going forward. I mean, I'm going to keep watching Bananya, because it's not like, that 3 minutes is I'm really losing anything here, but they got to work hard to win me back now, because that episode is a disappointment.
I think we should still keep up with it till the end of the summer, just because it's only 3 minutes. Like, because we're not losing anything.
Yeah, because it's called Bananya.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the high school life of a Fudanshi episode 2. This is one of those things I started watching with Wilson in the room, and then when it ended, he was like, "Oh, thank God, it was a short." I remember I liked it, but I don't even really remember what happened in this episode.
They go to a mixer.
Right. They go to a mixer, and the one dude is just like, "I'm invisible. I'm here to carry that guy's stuff." But what?
And the joke was how awkward that situation was in real life, I guess.
Yeah, and wasn't there another bit where the Fudanshi was trying to guess if everybody around him was like a BL couple or something like that?
Yeah, last episode he's all, well, I'm not gay, I just like, I like rooting for other people being gay. And this episode he's all rooting for other people being gay. Gotta have everyone else be gay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just weird.
Because I think we're supposed to take him at face value when he said, "I'm not gay. I just enjoy, boys' love."
I think we are supposed to take him at face value.
But he's just really passionate about men's love that he has no sexual interest in. So I guess that's kind of
it's a little odd. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Maybe if we continue to watch the high school life of a Fudanshi, we'll be able to make some sense of it. Okay, and last show on the list is The Disastrous Life of Saiki K. Now, we have to figure out what's going on with this show, because there are currently 8 short episodes of it up on Funimation, which are like 3 or 4 minutes long, and I've seen all those, and I thought they were cute. But then we were talking about it before the podcast, and Lifesong said he saw, like, the movie or something, but he hadn't seen any of the shorts.
It's
now
not
I'm really
a movie,
confused.
it's a full-length episode, like 25-minute episode.
Now, where did you see this?
It's on Funimation.
But see,
it's called Episode 1.
Well, thanks for that information.
Wow, so Funimation is confusing people again, I see.
Yeah, no, they call it Episode 1, but it's also, like, position, 8.
Well, maybe I watched it on the PS4, and when I found the show on the PS4, all that was listed was the shorts. Once I'd seen all the shorts, I'd seen all of it. There wasn't something else listed. So maybe I had to be looking at it through a browser or something?
Wow.
They did have another show. They did, like, a Servamp. You couldn't watch it through the web. You had to watch it through the app or PS4 or something, because it wasn't up on their website.
Funimation needs to get their game together, man. Like, if it was Crunchyroll, Crunchyroll wouldn't let that slide.
Yeah.
You could watch it anywhere.
And this is why Crunchyroll is taking over the world and Funimation is not. But okay, so the way it stands now is I've seen all 8 of the shorts, and Lifesong has seen an episode of the show, but we haven't seen the same thing, so we can't discuss it.
I wonder if we have, like, what happens in the short.
You should talk about it, because what Life Watch? It's a compilation of all the shorts.
I wonder if it is a compilation of the shorts. What happens in the shorts?
They introduce Saiki K and his parents.
His lovey-dovey parents that then become super hateful and then lovey-dovey again.
Yeah. That, and then various kids in school, like one kid who tries to be all Chunabu but having superpowers.
Yeah, and then the snake bites him and something or another.
Okay, so we have seen the same thing.
Okay, so it is a compilation, I guess. It's the 25-minute episode is the same thing as all the shorts. Sounds like it anyway.
Well, I was kind of wondering, like, last week they put out 4 episodes, and this week there was another 4, and I was like, what are they doing? But is it possible they're... No, that doesn't make sense either. I just don't
There's only one 25-minute episode so far.
Yeah, I just don't understand what's going on with this show.
Yeah, I think the last thing they went through was like the girl who is trying to be nice to him because she's awesome and showing up and talking to somebody is nice, I guess. And he's all, I do not care.
Well, the humor in the show, it's actually, might seem like an odd comparison, but it's a little bit like Tonari no Seki-kun, like using these amazing abilities to do something so simplistic, like he's using these amazing powers just to get people to leave him the hell alone.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it. I also I found myself a little disappointed with the whole, I'm miserable because the world has taken away all of my abilities to create joy. Like, no, you're miserable because you have a terrible attitude about it.
Yeah. You're miserable because you're a horrible person. Get it through your skull.
Other than that, though, like, I agree. I think the comedy works. I think that the overall flow of it is just, yes, that's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to keep up with it, whatever weird, mysterious form it takes. So, I think we're all done for this week, right? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Yep,
I feel like there's so much more that needs to be said, but it'll have to be watched and said next week.
Yep. Yeah, we know there's quite a few shows that we still haven't gotten to between this week and next week. I don't think we're going to touch on every single show that's airing this summer, but by next week we'll probably have gotten most of them, and then we'll know, like, everything we're really seriously watching for the season, so yay! Okay, good night, everybody. Be safe.
Night.
Good night.
Catch your Pokemon wherever you go.